Hello! I see a Sarge and a Bobcat. I was just tweeting out the things. How's it going? I was gonna do a lot of really productive things today, and then I was tired. So I was tired, and then it was gloomy, and I'm like, you know what, I'm tired and I'm gloomy. I want to go hang out with the 4 aliens that I have night calls with. It's kind of how I feel right now. Why is my chat not on the screen? I see you guys, but I'm not there. Hold on. Not that this is like that critical, but it's gonna drive me nuts. I wish to know. Let me fix this. I think you can actually see this. Copy web address. Nothing says professional like fixing stuff on stream. Okay. Will you work now? Hey! There's a chat. Okay. That was gonna bug me. Now it's there. Well, Jaquita. Okay, so we technically heard this conversation last time I streamed, but that's okay. Well, Jaquita, what did you think of that special simulation last night? I don't really remember because it wasn't last night anymore. That is wonderful to hear. I thought you could use a pick-me-up after the stress of last week. In any case, a week has already passed, and as the increasing storm activity has shown, our situation remains difficult. We still have a lot of work to do. Come see me in the core so we can get started again. Whee! Did I just like walk through the... Ha! I can walk through that stool. I don't know why that's amusing me, but it's amusing me. What does this say? I imagine you were thankful as I am that the storm did not damage the escape ship in any way. That would have been a terrible setback. As an aside, I noted that Mr. Lumumba's work report this morning was rather insightful. Oh, that's good. That means he likes us. Ready for it? Okay, that's just amusing me now. Let's talk to the core. With a week already gone, we need to step things up a bit. The recent storm has me worried. The holograms have made some progress with the escape ship, but it isn't ready yet. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to send you out again this week. There's some resources we badly need. We can access the medical wing of Colony B. That might help let us get some medical supplies. You can also head to Tower E of the comms relay, where we can try to send a distress signal into deep space. Nolan's here. Nolan, I did them just for you. I knew you were coming. I didn't know you were coming, but I knew it in my heart that you were coming. How are you today, my friend? How are all of you? How's it shaking on this fine? It's Tuesday, right? On this fine Tuesday. Another facility of the Agrodomes is open. We need you to head there and food and blah blah blah. And also you can head to the caves for things. As always, the choice is yours. Okay, where do we want to go, guys? Basically, wherever we go is whoever we talk to tonight. So the last person we talked to was the guy who's at the caves. So I would rather not do that. Otherwise, I don't really care. The Agrodome is the lady who used to live on a farm. The comms tower is the lady who writes the stories. And I don't know. The other place is the guy who's probably a criminal. Where do we want to go? Leslie? I'd rather not do Jean, because Jean's who we talked to before, but I don't really care. Pierre or Winnie? I'll go to the first one I see. Somebody say a thing. Doing pretty bad today? Aww. Are you in pain bad? Or are you like kind of just having a rough day? I'm having a rough day. I screwed some crap up at work. So I want to stream and not think about it. Agrodome? Okay, Bobcat says Agrodome, so that's where we're going. Get ready for the sequence. At any rate, I'm glad I could stream and we could all hang out and hopefully give Nolan a pick-me-up today. Let's go. According to her records, Miss Leslie stated that the research dome was one of her favorite places. It was also one of the colony's most important facilities. The research here allowed major advances in food processing efficiencies. Hopefully, you can find some research that might help us extend your food supply for the journey back to Earth. So is this going to be the same map? It looks like it could be. Like, is there just going to be a magical hallway now? Or just overall rough? I'm sorry, man. Oh, this decontamination chamber seems to be working. That's a good sign. It should be finished momentarily. The decontamination chamber's working now. Wonder how it's self-repaired. That's odd. There's a rare site here on Epsilon Arati B. The outer dome was used for testing research species. It was originally more structured lab-like environment, but over the years, Miss Baladra transformed it into this garden. If I recall correctly, she and I debated the merits of such an environment. She stated that having a garden just wasn't about the science. It was about something more human. I regret that I did not fully understand that at the time. So I have a new theory. I can't remember who, but one of the people we talked to say how the AI acts differently. I think it was Pierre. So that the AI acts differently around different people. And I'm wondering if we're not like a creation of the AI. Specifically. Like, I know we already wondered if we were a robot or not. But, like, specifically, we could also be a creation of the AI. That's just my thought. See what we got here. Need some apples? Can I do anything with the apples? No, it's just pretty. Here's a door. What's over here? Can I, like, walk around the whole circle? No, I can't. I just want to see if there's anything interactable around here. This is cool, though. I like this. But part of why I thought about that is I said, I wonder how this stuff started repairing itself. Like, I wonder what that AI is up to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just generally speaking, do not trust computer AIs in games like this. I'm reading a high concentration of foreign air particles from this lab on the west side of the research dome. I think you should check that out first. I'm going to actually check this equipment out first. It's a portable analyzer of some kind. I'm not sure what used I'm not sure what use it would be right now, so please keep looking. Okay, so that's probably going to become a thing. It said West Lab, right? Yeah, we'll just hang out and have some fun today. A body! Oh no. My scans indicate that this is the corpse of Chief Genetics Researcher Ashley Hainsworth. The skeletal remains are consistent with the osteoporosis she suffered. It appears that Miss Hainsworth used exo braces to regain some mobility in her legs, which were severely affected. The braces were on the skeleton. Miss Hainsworth was manually writing notes on her research. They read, "I finally confronted Brahadra about her inability to lead with direction. We had a pretty heated argument, and I'll be honest, I didn't think the chief had it in her. She clung to the hopeless belief that the team would see things through. I thought she would never give up, but after a while she came back and told me that she thought I might be right, and to think of it after all this time. But she made me agree not to tell the rest of the team of her acquiescence, not to disrupt her precious ecosystem. So, I've got them using the portable analyzer to test our newly grown samples." And that's it for our personal notes. Perhaps we should see if there are any other research documents. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So Leslie eventually gave in. But why? These notes contain specifics on Miss Hainsworth's research. They indicate that she was combining trace amounts of the toxin with other elements. According to this, she was trying to run more experiments at once than Leslie proved to, in an attempt to save time. Tests progressing faster than expected, she wrote. Ms. Hainsworth focused on the bryophyte plants to isolate those first. Do you know what a bryophyte is? Humor me. We'll go with that. Money is still on me being hungry. Yes, of course. I think the plant that think of a plant that doesn't produce flowers or seeds, or have an internal veins. Moss, for example. The team must have been trying to isolate which plants were the most susceptible to carrying the toxin to understand how it traveled. Ms. Hainsworth focused on the moss, specifically moss, but her research is incomplete. If we could get a couple samples, perhaps we could finish it. Look around the dome, see if you can find some equipment that looks like a bulky laptop, a portable analyzer. I have an idea. Oh, I looked at it already, and you were like, don't look at that right now. Remember that? Yeah, that. That tube was breached, and the plant inside is mutated somewhat. Toxin from the tube environment must have escaped into this room. Oh. Can we check the terminal? The terminal still has some local data that didn't get properly synced with the colony network. It looks like Miss Hainsworth and Mr. Yeager continued their private conversations regarding Leslie's leadership capabilities. So I had it out with her, with, I cannot say this woman's name, Barwadwa. You did? What happened? We had quite a row. Was surprised, actually. In the end, she agreed with me. I don't know if she wanted to, that irritating sense of duty she has. Holy! I can't believe you did it. So that's it? Then we're going to proceed with your research plan? Looks like it. We'll show her, Arlo. No more pussyfooting around. It's not actually a bad word when it's used like that. We'll get this done faster. Better than with her restrictive rules. I just hope that we're making right decisions here. Things have been so crazy lately. I hope we can come back from this. Bum-ba-da-bum. So we got more notes. Is there anything else interesting in this room? Not currently. There you go. That analyzer has the data we need on it from Miss Hainsworth's experiments, but we can use it to continue her work. If we can figure out how the toxin works, more specifically, maybe I can protect your food supply for the journey home. Her name is a Star Wars character on that list from Rogue Squadron. Yeah, basically. Take the analyzer out of the garden, and hopefully we can find a way to hook it up and find some specimens. All right, let's go to the garden. How do I know when I can do stuff? I'm looking for plants. Here's some moss. Can I do anything here? Do I set it on this table? There we go. That's what I do. Okay, the analyzer is connected and online. What we need to do is find samples from Ms. Hainsworth's field research. So let's start by finding some samples of moss. Remember, plants without vascular system. Moss is for the most part. I can't say that one word. There must be some samples in the garden. Find and scan 3 of them. That should give us enough data for the analyzer. So sorry, we tried the hardest part for me reading the book is keeping the... Oh yeah, there are so many characters in that book. And then you read more books and there's more. Sphagnum! That's a word I can say. You've scanned some Sphagnum centrale. I can't say the other word. Otherwise known as common peat moss. Good work. This is a bryophyte we can use to test. So, fun fact, sphagnum moss is a type of moss that is in my lizard tank. Sphagnum moss is great. You can also just say peat moss, but I like the word sphagnum. Sphagnum. The sample is small, but there's so much science here. It's ribbed bog moss. It will suit our test. Look, I did not sign up for these words. I'm not a scientist and doctor like Sarge. You have found a healthy patch of juniper moss. This is indeed a thing we can test. Well, that makes 3 samples. Use the portable analyzer to process them. Yeah, I made that word up. I did not make up sphagnum. Sphagnum is a word. Okay. Good, I got the data from the moss plants now. I'll be able to run simulations and test it back here. I think we're onto something. Head to the North Lab inside the dome and see what's being worked on there. What happens if I revolt and go to the East Lab? The computer yells at me, that's what happens. I had to try. I had to know. Okay, there's some stuff going on in here. Here's a bloody lab coat. Let's see what's up here. The ruined coat contains trace elements of dust and debris from the surrounding wreckage. I can also see some DNA around one of the cuffs. The coat belonged to geneticist Dale Zorowski. There are small food wrappers in the pocket, as well as small, worn, folded up photograph. The photo depicts the dome staff looking tired after it was probably a long day. In it is Leslie and Ashley, Florent and Mr. Zorowski and Matsuko Bradley. This game goes back and forth between first and last names a lot. In the photo, Mr. Zorowski appears to be looking at Mrs. Bradley, one of the other geneticists on the team. Why do you think he's doing this? Jealousy, he likes her, no reason. It's always Field, he likes her. Well, now, do you really think so? This photo might have captured what was intended to be a private moment of longing. Very interesting. That's funny. Space. Here's some notes. These are the notes were by Dale Zorowski, one of the other geneticists. It appears he was working under Miss Hainsworth's direction. Pterophyte strains 1 through 4, no conclusive results. It says there's a chart that indicates more tests were intended. So Mr. Zorowski was focused on pterophyte plants from the dome. Do you remember? Do you know what it... No, I don't. Or ... It's okay. It wasn't a test, Chiquita. The computer's like, it's okay, honey. It's okay, sweetie. Pterophytes don't contain flowers, but do have vascular systems. Good examples are ferns, and what are sometimes called horsetails, important elements to Earth-like ecosystems. We need to complete Mr. Zorowski's research so we can share our make sure our food systems are safe. Okay, so we're gonna go look for those plants after we finish examining the room. Because I'm sure there's other stuff here. Local storage has been severely damaged, but it can still read several external media, such as data cards. Can I look at them? Oh, I might have to bring a data card here. Okay, that would make sense. Is there anything else worth doing in this room? So we found his coat, but just because we found his coat does not mean this is where he died. Alright, let's go look for some pterophytes. Pterophytes. Since the analyzer is all set up, let's put it to work. 3 samples of pterophytes. That I only know because I know how to pronounce pterodactyl. It looks like a fern. Boop, boop, boop. You found a healthy patch of asplinum. You found a fern. This is indeed a pterophyte we can use to test. You've scanned some horsetail. Good work. Yay. I did not sign up for these words. These words are so much. This game has a lot of faith in my ability to read. Good choice. This is a tree fern. Yeah, it's a tree fern. It will make a good specimen. This scan will help us with our test. That's 3. Let's go put it in the thing. Dale's here! Welcome, Dale. How goes it? I've processed and received the data from the pterophyte plants you've scanned. There's only one area left to the east. To the east. Whee! I'm gonna guess by the nature of these fruits that the next thing is going to involve them in some way. Like, it's either gonna be like about fruit, but there's only one thing with fruit, so it might actually just be a tree thing. These are extensive notes, quite neatly organized, on another type of plant. These appear to be by Matsuko Bradley, another geneticist at the Dome. Like with the previous research, there is no real recorded success, Miss Bradley wrote. Despite long... there's no isolated toxin. Miss Bradley was tasked with testing agniosperm. Just tell me. Yeah, just make up words. Just say cheese or something. There you go. Because what is scanning your oversized turkey? Exactly. Yeah, that's fair. Miss Bradley was narrowing her search to deciduous plants, those with vascular systems and the ability to produce flowers. She was looking at Angie's list, and there are several samples such as trees, crops, and deciduous plants in the garden. Let's try the portable analyzer one more time. Okay. But first, let's see what else is in this room. This looks like it could be a thing. Pick up data card. Oh, that's a standard 2D data card. That makes sense. Oftentimes researchers made manual backups. Hey, there have been so many disruptions since this all started. So much useful data has been rendered useless or inaccessible, especially since I lost contact with Colony B. If you could find the terminal that still has functioning data code. We did in the other room, actually. Deciduous. I will make it pollen. I don't know. That was a terrible joke. This terminal is damaged too heavily. It can't be used. Well, let's go one room over and use that data port. What do you say? Reading the data card now. It's a bit slow since the terminal is in such poor repair. Success! The data card contains several research documents, backups that don't seem to pertain to the task at hand. However, there is a personal file here called Matt Brad P-Log 24. It reads, research could be going better. Everyone's under the gun. Ashley's pushing harder each day. We know the stakes, but she still flexes her muscles. I get the sense she has more than just survival riding on this new line of experiments. She has pride, and she needs to prove she was right. I don't really know to whom. Hey, here you go, Dale. Dale has been getting a little close lately. Sometimes I feel at ease when we do relax together, but then suddenly I feel as though I'm the experiment. He's sweet, but a little intense. He's an excellent geneticist, though. We need him now more than ever. Did you know that you are an excellent geneticist, Dale? Apparently with a crush on someone that you might be manipulating emotionally. Do you feel called out right now? That is the end of the file. I want to see one more thing in here because I know this is the terminal. Okay, there's nothing there. Right on, very concerned. This game, man, it knows your life. You gotta watch out. Alright, let's find some deciduous plants. Here's a tree. Here we go. Let's find 3 samples of Angie's List and use the analyzer when you're done. Okay. Here's a tree. Can I scan this tree? Cannot scan this tree. Pretty sure I've already scanned this. Genesis is your mastery. Oh, you're very connected, not very concerned. I gotcha. I read that wrong. It's the sound you make. This is definitely one. Of course. What better Angie's List is there than a tree ripe with apples? I like apples. I ate an apple today. It was very delicious. It wasn't a red delicious. It was actually a Macintosh. But it was delicious still. It was red and it was delicious, but it was not a red delicious. That's what I'm getting at here. It looks like Leslie was testing a few varieties. Thankfully, some of the beans have survived. This is indeed an Angie's List that we can use to test. I just want to point out that this grammar is incorrect because this is indeed a Angie, whatever. It should be Anne. Just gonna say it. There's very few things that I'm grammatically good at, so on the rare occasion I find one, I need to point it out. Okay, look, there's only one other tree, and it's this tree. So, are you really telling me I can't scan this? Because there's literally... Oh, whoa, okay. I guess I hadn't scanned this yet. This looks like corn. These fading stalks of maize, okay, so yeah, it is corn, are a bit old, but they should provide some Angie's List we can test. Okay, that should be enough Angie's List samples. Okay, do spammers target guys with budget enlargement scans? Let's say you're a girl, how are you supposed to have that conversation? Hey honey, I got this email. I think you should have it. The thing is scammers don't target men or women. Scammers just email everybody. And if you are a man, you either are bold enough to say it to a girlfriend or you don't care. Excellent. I've got some data from the Angie's List. That's the last piece of data we needed. I can run a full suite of tests now. I hope we have better success at the Agridomes than the Agridomes crew did. It might take me a few days to complete my simulations, but it's something. It's unfortunate that this facility was so greatly compromised. I only hope we can make use of the work that went on here. Though I imagine the garden must be a welcome change from the corridors of the colony, we must continue our work if we are to escape. So when you're ready, please head back to the shuttle and we can go home. Okay, I think we've done everything interesting here. I don't think there's anything else to be done. I'm just gonna make sure we didn't have a conversation. It's like a weird... Oh, can I do something here now? I see. I find the data card and... Okay, that makes sense. I don't think there's anything else I can interact with. Yeah, the spammers aren't that great. My spam list is filled with people trying to meet me, quote unquote. It's pretty great. Does not appear like I've missed anything interesting in any of these rooms, so we'll probably just get going. I think I have found anything interesting anywhere. I feel like this did not take as long as the other places, but maybe the second round is intentionally supposed to not take as long. Or maybe other ones will take longer. Exit the garden. There's a big hole in the ground. Should I be concerned about this? Probably not. It's raining. It's raining. Look, you can see the rain bouncing off my helmet. That's cool. I think my favorite is I'm the prince of whatever. Oh yeah, no. I am a prince. Let me give you all of this money for free. No real reason. At least that one you can have the conversation and not sleep on the couch. I mean, maybe. Okay, so I like that it gives me this map just so I can feel a sense of control. Room. I'm in my little tank. My Nigerian prince will come get me in Holland. Splish, splash. I was taking a bath on about a Saturday night. Don't dwaddle. Come see me. Don't dwaddle? Okay, sass robot. Come see me right away. When have I ever dawdled? I mean, I go in the mess hall for no reason all of the time, but I don't dawdle. Running through so many doors. Okay, all of the data you have collected today is synced and ready to be worked on. You did well out there. Because since you went to the Agridomes, you'll be able to visit with Leslie in the Holo-Sim chamber tonight. You can retire to your quarters when you're ready. I'll call for you when the Holo-Sim chamber is available. You'll wake me up in the middle of the night for the booty call, because we all know that's what it is. It's love Nolan. Don't deny. I've now decided that this kind of sounds like that suction device at the dentist. Listen. Nothing to read out here. I really want to know what the function of this room is. I will keep going to this room as long as it takes for me to understand what the function of that room is. Gonna sleep. I keep taking that helmet off, but I never get to see what's under there. Who are we really? It's time, Chiquita. The Holo-Sim chamber is ready for you now. Just head in when you're ready. Have a good evening. Just trust me, Nolan. I don't know, Nolan. Sarge sounds like she's a little drawn in. There's still nothing going on in here. One day I will come in here and this room will have more purpose than it already does. Okay, we've gone through all the doors. Let's go talk to Leslie. I don't really remember Leslie's voice, to be honest with you, so that'll be fine. Hello again, Chiquita. I'm just over here trying to find a new strain of vegetables. What happened with you today? The usual, not much, a whole lot. I hope that's good news. The AI said you went to the research dome today. Maybe you found something that will get this work back on track. I can't read, it's fine. You know, that dome was my pride and joy, and my favorite place in the whole colony. I probably spent more time there than I should have, but I love it so much. Those vines began to develop and ruin everything, and the Agridome labs, they were thoroughly corrupted. It took a while longer before the research dome became affected. Without access to the main grow dome and its equipment, we were forced to use what we had on hand. But the vines didn't reach the garden yet, and so we had a bit more time. But you saw it for yourself. I'm curious. Did you find anything that might help with the mission? Let's look at the team photo. Oh my, that is interesting. I remember this photo. But now that I see it again, the way that Dale was looking at Masuko. Dale was an excellent researcher. I think HC loved him for the position. He was so studious and dedicated, they probably considered him pretty low maintenance. And you know, to be perfectly frank, I never even considered he could express such an interest, let alone in a coworker. He just never let on. He was strict about his work. He was strictly about work. Milk and cookies. But Masuko was beautiful and very smart. I guess she was the one that got through to him, woke him up, so to speak. I can't say I blame him for his affection. Why are we all just like gossiping about this photo? You can't, I suppose. Hey, I suppose. Maybe it was unprofessional, but even HC understood that relationships were the key to survival of the colony. We weren't all drones after all. No, but maybe I was. If you find anything else in that garden that might help us, tell me about Ashley. Dang it. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, that's right, she's dead. Despite our differences, I never wished Ashley any harm. I mentioned last time Ashley and I had our disagreements, but she was a good scientist, at least before we all got desperate. And why Ashley was a valuable member... I think I'm doing Winnie's voice, but that's okay. Why Ashley was a valuable member of the team, she was very ambitious. I don't think I was very good at managing her or her ambitions. You seem to be dealing with the pressure of this whole situation well. How do you do it? I just have to. I'm not really. I don't know. Let's make ourselves vulnerable. Well, if that's true, you hide it well. I don't think I was able to do it at all. Did you find anything else in the garden? Ah, I see. The data you scanned now. So that's what we were up to in there. The biggest issue I remember was how difficult it was to get results fast enough. That was the main point of contention between Ashley and me. I was adamant that we needed proper protocols since we were essentially getting one last good chance to do something. She thought that speed was more important. You see, by the time we went to our research dome, our connection to the AI was tenuous, and the atmospheric interference was the lack of power. We could only check in occasionally. You know, one thing about our team that I always noticed was that we were all so very different. Different kinds of families, different kinds of personalities. We were like a garden, in a way. Our own little ecosystem. I don't know. Maybe I was the problem. I could never create the balance that we needed to succeed. You're right, you're wrong, maybe. No, you're wrong. You really think so? That's awfully sweet of you. It just feels like I was the one who didn't make it all work, you know? We got her to smile, guys. Heck yeah. How weird would it be if Chiquita is this lady? That would be weird. That'd be really weird. But listen, I actually have been meaning to ask you something. When you finally escape and get back home, what are you gonna do? Go up again, settle down, travel. She would want to settle down, so we'll tell her to settle down. Yes, I can see how that would be attractive. After all this, I imagine some peace and stability would be necessary. I have way too much effort. There we go. I think HC has rules about what happens to crews when they return. Psych evals, debriefing, that sort of thing. And who knows what's changed since we've been gone. Public opinion, government, regulation. All of it could affect colonization attempts, among other things. Sorry. With our situation as it is, I wonder how much data they even could have on what's happened here. Perhaps almost nothing. After 16 years. Wow, it'd almost be like you're returning from the dead. I'm sure so much of it would be different. Well, in the meantime, if you end up in the Acrodomes again, can you do me a little favor, since I won't be able to do it myself? Can you let me know? Can you let me know if you find out what happened to Masuko and Dale? Now you got me thinking about is them. Of course. Oh, thank you, Chiquita. That would mean so much to me. I know it's a lot to ask, but, well, thank you. She is interested in another couple. I think it's probably time for you to get some rest and for me to take some of this new information and get back to working on supply ships. It's nice to know. I'm yawning so much, I'm sorry. It's nice to know that this simulated garden isn't the only bright point I have. Your visits, they're really what's keeping me going. Until next time, Chiquita, stay safe out there. Sarge, look, we're sitting how you like. Okay. To our bed. We're gonna run through so many doors. We're gonna run through every door. We're gonna run through the door. Gets you every time. I like this cutaway at the end of every night of what everything looks like. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm yawning. And it's not gonna stop, I know it. I'm sorry. It's just gonna be me yawning forever. Hello again. Could you please come see me in the core? Oh, this computer is so needy. It's so needy. Only sit in that way in every situation. It's the best way to sit, Nolan. It's the top way to sit. Oh, hold on. It's the tell me sit. No, to me it looks like the I have to pee and you're still talking sit. I forgot to go into the mess hall. It's still a mess. Thank goodness you were able to make progress on the food supply for the ship yesterday. We're getting closer to properly stocking up. Leslie was able to take your data and help me retool the ship's food processor, and it will supply you. It may not taste good, but it will last a lot longer. To be honest, she seemed quite pleased with herself. Something about a photo giving her a bit of extra drive. She's getting extra drive from, like, checking out a couple. I'm just saying. It's okay, Chiquita. I wasn't really expecting you to. Today is it's the AI's birthday! More accurately, it's the date of my activation. It was today, back in 2048, when all of you arrived. That means I've been active for exactly 16 years. Happy birthday! Thank you so much, Chiquita. I appreciate the sentiment. There is something up with this AI. Normally, I do not mention such an arbitrary bit of information, but, well, I suppose now that it's just the two of us, I felt the need. I think, okay, so she wants you to live. I think the AI likes us. And I think that the AI is pretending to be the 4 Hollow Sims. I'm telling you. Like, the AI has a thing for us and is pretending to be these other people so that we like it. That's what I think is going on. I'm getting, like, what if you go home and the AI kidnaps you? I noticed how much happier the holograms seem to be after your evening meetings because you and they shared information. So I thought I'd give it a try, I suppose you'd say. The AI wants me to take it to get a driver's license. In any case, you have 3 more areas you can visit today. Alright guys, where are we going to go? Are we going to go see Pierre, the guy with the cool jacket? Are we going to go see Jean, the guy who's looks sketchy? Or are we gonna go see Winnie, the novelist? I will go to the first name I see, also known as Caves, Communication, and some other place. What do we got? We got Jean, Pierre, and Winnie. I still want to know what this is. So long as it's not the magic school bus boy. Pierre? Okay. Because I can't trust that name. Pervy Pierre. This was Colony B's medical center. So much of it looks like it's collapsed in the Rift event. I don't imagine it'll be pleasant in there. I'd rather you don't go in at all, but you need to find medical supplies. Just go in. Let's take a look around. See, and the AI is like, I don't want you to go and see terrible things. Like, it's being really protective. I'm telling you. I don't know this game well enough to know if it's going to have, like, a super payoff like that, but I feel like it might. Oh my, it's even worse than I imagined. Those poor people. Well, let's do what we came here for. Get out of here. Get the supplies we came for and get out of here. You need to look for medical... Red containers, got it. That's the self-triage terminal. Patients used to file their issues quickly. You might still be able to read a data card. Okay. Look, there's a bloody handprint on it. Locked. Password required, which we don't have. Inaccessible. I'm feeling very boxed in, and I'm not a fan. So I'm guessing, yep, East Corridor is the only thing that's open. Alright, what do we got? These look like big important files. No, I still can't interact with them. Great, this is a large package of standard medical rations. Your scan indicates that its contents are still intact and viable. There must be more supplies available. Please keep looking. Is that all that's going on in this whole room? I guess so. You gotta set up the triage. Intensive care unit. To the ICU! Hey, here's a dead body. That is the body of Nurse Darius Simonis. His remains include several cracked ribs and a bruised skull. Nurse Simonis did not take well to the colony life after a while, and though he was well liked by the other colonists, he could be devious. I still have access to the security report regarding Mr. Simonis. Apparently, after several years, he started getting into fights. How did Nurse Simonis contract those particular injuries, I wonder? Was he in a fight? Here's some boots. Ooh, another room. Okay. Neither of these computers are interactable. There's a can of something. ICU room B. Whoa, more dead bodies. Let's see who we got here. Oh my. I'm afraid those are the remains of Nurse Yagmar Dahl. She was one of the more senior nurses from the Rift event. By the looks of that room, her body sustained serious exposure to the elements, but in her pocket is a data pad I can read. Nurse Dahl's shift log, Feb... You know what? I'm probably the only one still doing this. I hope later crews will benefit from our experience. It's been 8 months now since the quake ruined the colony. Without a connection to the AI, we're flying blind in so many ways. The word was that Supervisor Tong was leading a team to Colony A to repair the communications and get supplies. That was 2 months ago. We're doing the best we can. See, and my other question is, if we can get to Colony B so easily, why couldn't they get to us? Did they not have a vehicle? I'm just saying, there's some sketchy things afoot. That room is in quite a state. Those remains you just scanned are so compromised I can't determine to whom they belong. Yeah, we're definitely outside. It's faded. It's a handwritten note. You might not be able to see the ink very well, but I can read its traces for you. It says, Darius, inability to run CAT scan means we can't properly diagnose. Use code medfiles to access the main system and see previous history. So medfiles is probably the password on that one computer, is my guess. Yeah, he died in fetal, Sarge. That's rough. Okay. Password. The triage station, terminal station. It's timed out. You'll need a password to unlock it. I'm pretty sure it's med files, like the X files. That's what my hands look like. Okay, we're in the main medical network. I've used it to disable the locks in the rooms. You should now be able to access the doors. Oh, and this is interesting. The medical records for most of the colonists, some are missing or corrupted. What's notable, however, is that the records for our 4 special colonists are absent as well. There might be hard copies of those records somewhere else, perhaps even in the areas you've already been. Keep an eye out for them while you're looking for those medical supplies. Well, let's backtrack then. Yeah, there were definitely some things in some of these rooms. That didn't look like it was fully attached, but still. There were definitely some things in some of these rooms where I was like, why are there not more things in this room? See? It looks like you've scanned the medical records for Director Pierre Tong. You will no doubt find this interesting. He was known to work very long hours, and at one point his work ethic led him to extreme exhaustion. It was Jean Lumba who checked him into medical after one extreme case. But Mr. Tong, as you may know, was very stubborn and continued to work very hard, possibly to his detriment. His record also notes as a suspected painkiller abuse. Despite this, he was checked in several more times for extreme exhaustion throughout the years. Now there should only be 3 more medical records to find. I was going to say, that looked like something. I don't remember if there was another one in this room or not. Does not appear to be that. No, nothing appears to be in here. Alright. So let's go to the rest of the area. And there's nothing over here that could be medical files, probably. Oop. Okay, well, let's go through here. Password required. The X-ray lab has been locked with a passcode. Okay, well, that's annoying. Oh, this is another corridor? Yeah, no, let's go back. Let's check this door first. Examination room. What do we got? That's an operation assistant drone was destroyed in the collapse. We can't even salvage its parts. His parts. His? Please accept my apologies. You are correct. That is needlessly sentimental. The drone has no gender, of course. There's something up with his AI. I'm gonna guess that's a medical file. You appear to have found the medical files on Agrodome Chief Leslie. There are some very interesting details in here. According to this, Leslie suffered from mild claustrophobia and says she often complained about it when she was required to work in the main colony facility. Also says that she experienced mild allergies, not to the earth plant she was cultivating, but to some of the natural elements from the planet. Apparently, in her attempts to adapt flora to the local environment and to create new breeds, she developed new allergies and came here seeking help for them. Now there should only be 2 more medical records. Okay, this room is a complete write-off. There are no medical drones buried underneath as well. There are medical drones buried underneath as well. Not all the casualties were human. RIP. Leslie is the best. She and Winnie are my 2 favorites so far. But Leslie seems to be the coolest one. We'll see if Winnie can catch up the second time we talk to her. Gross bed. As the seismic events became worse, it must have become increasingly difficult to run a stable medical facility. The scan shows a disturbing collection of materials on this bed. Reduced samples of likely meant a less than ideal scenario there. It's nice. Hey, another file. I found the medical records for Comms Relay Chief Winnie. They are, unfortunately, not a happy collection of notes. When he experiences anxiety throughout the duration of her post here, she has trouble relating to other colonists, and that led to a pronounced case of stress. Eventually, she was diagnosed with depression, though, according to these notes, she never really accepted that diagnosis. I could have guessed that. It looks like the ER was quite busy during the time. There are numerous reports of fractures and major injuries. Okay, I mean, that's a neat fact, I guess. What do we got? Medical supplies? Those are nutritional supplements that will help you survive the long trip. Heck yeah, still I think it's in your best interest to find as many supplies. We will keep looking. Okay, so this room is clear. We gotta find something to unlock. You found another set of hand-drawn schematics. They seem to be more complex than the last. They are difficult to make out. They've been affected by exposure to the increasingly tainted air. They mentioned something about improving speed. I think you should mention these to Mr. Tong when you meet him in the Holocene chamber. He might be able to help. So Mr. Tong, our friend, likes to work a lot and might be a painkiller addict. The drone has become increasingly corroded due to exposure. It's likely served to the very end. I mean, so far, Leslie is proving to be the best person. You've discovered the body of Dr. Lance Magorian. He was a brilliant surgeon and a major asset to the facility. The doctor wasn't always popular with his subordinates, however. He was very impatient with staff who couldn't keep up with him. Well, you know, that's how he is. The water in those scrub stations is putrid and filthy. There are small vines growing out of it, like the ones you saw in the agrodomes. Ah, so the toxin is here also. Those are the scrubs for the medical staff to wear when entering the operating room. They are supposed to be clean. Your scan, though, indicates that they aren't sterilized as they should be, and the staff were likely working in increasingly difficult conditions. That is true. Let's go into operating theater space. What horrors await? Oh, so many. Just so many horrors. Whose body here? That's Dr. Li Zhu, head surgeon. She was incredibly ambitious and one of the youngest surgeons HC ever employed. According to my records, Dr. Li was a huge proponent of using drones for research and practice. She was very forward-thinking. This was a major point of contention between her and Dr. Magorian. He didn't think kindly of non-human medical staff. Ooh, hey. I found an access card. It doesn't appear to be someone's personal data. We went by a monitor that could read things, and I can't remember where. But we'll backtrack. You've discovered medical records for the Expedition Resources lead, Jean Lumumba. His record is long, but I can pull the details. He began to experience occasional but serious lumbar pain a couple of years ago, likely from the physical labor he insisted on doing. And then, while working in the caves, Mr. Lumumba suffered a leg fracture and underwent laser reconstruction here at the facility. Because of Mr. Lumumba's continuous activity, the fracture continued to bother him and made his work more difficult. I have notes here of many subsequent medical visits. Well, you found all the colonists' medical reports. I wish we could leave, but you still need to find medical supplies. Unfortunately, the batch of antibiotics and other general meds has been exposed and no longer usable. That was an unfortunate waste. Let's not give up hope. There must be some more in other places. Let's go. Maybe the AI is the murderer. The theater table is normally very modern and elaborate equipment next to it. These tools, however, are less than ideal. There's a non-functioning data pad and an old-fashioned theater record book next to it. Some of these pages in the notebook are of interest. Patient W. King, procedure spinal fracture, nano rebuild. Staff L. Magorian, surgeon D. Simonis assisting. Complication seismic event during op caused jump in delivery beam fractured, not 100% closed. Patient will be experiencing limited mobility if we cannot revisit in time. Oof. So they were operating when the big earthquake happened. That's no good. Okay, so the only place we haven't gone in is the X-ray room. I've not found a password for the X-ray room. But we now have this data card. And if I can go somewhere and get the data card read, then this room, we might get the password for that room. So there was somewhere, was it this, where I could read a data card? It looks like the sysadmin bypass card. Inserting it brought up a debug menu of sorts. Most of what's here is useless, but there is a file that can be accessed. There's a truncated account of the last patient processed. Date 2060, forward 23, patient O. McKenna. Malady, danger to self and others. It continues, to my great dismay, Mr. McKenna had to be contained. Please forgive me for what I had to do. Another note, the file says, do not open his room until you're sure he has grown dangerous. Use year, month, date, but only if it's safe. Use year, month, date. Is it? So would that be 60/04/23? It's probably 60/04/23. I'm assuming it's their birthday. Sarge, did you do it? Today's my birthday, the day you die. Let's try it. So is it 60/04/23? Yeah, it is. Yeesh. Oh boy, that room is in quite a state. It must smell quite strong in there. Well, if I didn't have a space helmet on, I could tell you. Oof. Okay, I see medical supplies. Looks like you found a decent cache of supplies and medication that we can keep for your journey. You found any useful supplies, you're likely to. You found all 4 of the medical records too. Finally, that's over with. I don't want you to stay there another moment. Head to the shuttle. No, I have things to explore. That's what's left of the X-ray technician, Oblasky McKenna. He appears to have been locked away in the lab for some time. He likely died of malnutrition in the end, which would have been most unpleasant. He was clutching a letter. It took me a long time, but I forgave you. I know you did everything you had to, and I'm so sorry for everything. What I did to Darius was unforgivable. I know that now. Oh boy. So you killed the one guy, the fetal position guy, and then you got locked in here, and then the event probably happened and you were locked in here and no one came and got you. That's my guess. Or you just got locked in here and everyone was dead. It's something like that. The AI's birthday was the year that we all came here. So I don't know. It couldn't have been the AI's birthday because then the person would have, the X-ray technician would have only been 16 years old, which I doubt. I like how in Star Wars everyone can breathe wherever on it. Yep, it's true. There's just air everywhere, all of the time. All planets are breathable. Unless you are in the pit of a exogirth inside of an asteroid, then you can't breathe. Oh, Jaquita, that was very difficult to experience. Why? Are you okay? I will need some time to think about all this. I was not prepared for how bad Colony B had become after the rift event that I bet you caused. There's something up with this AI. Your scans reveal so much distress and filth that Colony became just as dangerous and toxic inside as it did out here. Only now I'm truly realizing how disastrous losing contact with this place was. Maybe for the best if you just come home safely. And we're headed back. I always like to just make sure there's not another thing I can pick. We're gonna make it. Okay. Well, you're back again. Come see me when you're ready to sync up as usual. Right. Okay, I've got everything synced from you today. Have fun tonight. Did you say have fun tonight? I'm telling you, the AI is just pretending to be these people. And the end of the game is going to be like, I was in love with you the whole time, AI. I'm for real tired. It's time, Jaquita. What do you want to do? You know what to do. I'm sure you'll have fun. That is just so sketchy. That is so sketchy as you wake me up for this midnight escapade. It looks like the Eye of Sauron, but in pastels. It's a funny SNL sketch. You're right, Nolan. Ah, you're back. Look, there he is. It's the pervy guy. You're back. I assume that means you headed back to Colony 4B. AF 4B 3B said. Well, it mentioned the medical wing. How did that go? It was rough. I can remember it being heavily compromised at one point. I am thankful I couldn't have been there myself. Listen, I can tell the AI is having a very hard time with this. Seeing Colony B again, I mean. It may not realize it, but after the Rift event, well, a lot of the colonists began to resent it. I must confess, I don't really understand why. It's the side-eye guy. The Rift event stranded us. It was the AI's fault. But for some reason, I remember the people were left getting more... It wasn't the AI's fault. But for some reason, I remember the people who left getting more and more angry. The medical center you saw today, I think it did something to AF4B 3B. It seems different. I can certainly understand. I watched a lot of good people succumb to terrible diseases and stress of everything that was happening around us. Schematics. Oh, well, look at these. You found some of the schematic drawings, did you? It looks just like the ones you found before. It appears I was indeed busy trying to come up with something. These are unfinished, but they're concepts for how to increase the speed of an escape ship by modifying the thrusters. I can work with these, complete the notes, and talk to AF4B3B so it knows what to do. The ship has a long way to go to improve as an escape ship. Thank you, Jaquita. It really helps. You know, to see that I was still trying in some way, at least. Honestly, it was just so difficult to see people like that in Colony B as Colony B started to degrade. Medical records. Oh, I see. So it looks like you did some digging of your own while you were out there. Where did you get this? These were supposed to be confidential. Look, I know what you're thinking. That what the report said is true. That I did too much work, and I had to. I was the director. I had an entire facility dependent on me, you know. And the pills, the painkillers. Well, yeah. If I'm being honest, for a while they were a problem, but only for a while. As it says in the report, Jean brought me in at one point. He was worried about me. He was always worried about me. I was exhausted and it was affecting me. I think I was losing weight, unable to sleep. I think that's when Jean and I started to argue a lot. We were very close, you understand. We really helped each other to see the flip side of the colony's operation, but we could butt heads a lot. After he checked me in, I got these painkillers. I convinced the doctors I needed them, and for a while, they dulled some of what was going on. Eventually, though, it was a problem. Jean and I continued to argue whenever we met, and maybe they were partly the reason we had such a falling out. But after he left to go off somewhere, I got off those things. Things were getting worse, and I knew I had to get everyone else through this mess. I don't remember much after that. I must have left too, but I don't know why or to where. But please, believe me, I'm not that man anymore. Yeah, that's my thought too, Nolan. They were very close. I'm not that kind of man anymore, really, but you know what I mean. Honestly, it was just so different to see people like that in Colony B started to degrade. Me? Well, health-wise, I wasn't the worst case. I was too busy to check myself in too much, especially after the Rift event. Things were hectic. On the one hand, we were lucky so much of the medical equipment Hudson's HC equipped us with could be used without a technician. When our staff became compromised, we at least could get basic procedures done automatically. It kept everyone in decent shape for a good long while. But eventually things had to be calibrated or maintained, and we kept losing people who were afraid of the people who were best suited to do those things. And what's worse, the automed equipment can't help with mental stresses, and that affected everyone. Only humans could, and we were all at the end of our rope, you know? I think all of us were affected, mentally and physically. I don't like to admit it, but I was no different. Well, it seems like you're really getting the inside scoop on what everyone went through, but you've got your own trial. So let's talk about you. What would you say is you worry about the most? Losing your mind or losing your body? That guy looks worried, like he's secretly someone else. Meaning he could be really the AI, we don't know. I'm probably the most afraid of... I haven't seen too many people go that crazy, to be honest. I feel like if you lose your mind, you're not going to worry as much about your body. But if you lose your body, you're going to still be in your mind. Is that so? You mentioned before how much you loved reading. I assume the inability to enjoy that would be the more disturbing option. Yeah, but if I'm dead, I can't read. I'm very pragmatic. I think I missed a smile point. Oh well. The reason I ask is we've been talking so much about the stresses of what happened to us. But you've got your own problems now, and it's really important that you don't ignore how stressful it is. Don't just try to bottle that up and expect to make it out okay. He does need a shave. We're all just working away, getting our ship ready, but staying focused is really important. So if you need to talk about anything, I'm here, okay? Thanks. I know you are. Good. You're such a gracious listener, and I don't want you to think that I'm not listening to you. He def likes us. Well, I think we've probably used up enough of the colony's power for tonight, haven't we? It's been really great seeing you again. Please remember what I said. I'll be thinking about you while I work on the ship's thrusters. See you next time, Chiquita, and please keep an eye out for anything that might help me understand what happened. Oh, I like how you've got it. Yeah, I don't know why. It just kind of came when I was doing them the first time. That was one voice that I remembered. He kind of came out like Frank Underwood. Probably because I didn't trust him. Alright, I'm gonna admit, guys, I want to keep playing. I'm having a great time, and we've only been going an hour. That's not a whole lot. I usually like to stream for longer. But I am real world exhausted, and I think if this game was more anything else, I'd keep playing, but it's all reading, and I'm really struggling to read right now because I'm tired. So I think I might actually log off for the day and go take a nap. Because the rest, this stream's just not gonna be as fun because I'm really struggling to read. So I'm gonna go ahead and get going, but I appreciate you guys being here. It means a lot. If you haven't already, please like the stream on your way out. Sorry the stream wasn't longer, I feel bad. But I'll be back eventually with this game. I don't know when, but I'll try to announce it in my Discord if I do. But yeah, thank you so much, Nolan and Bobcat and Sarge and somebody else was floating around here. And Dale. It means a lot that you guys have been hanging out. And I will talk to you soon.